Hi everybody, I'm Michael Louden. I'm going to try to do something like this on a weekly basis if I have a race I'm running now. I'm going to start trying to utilizing my YouTube channel just because, it's fun and I think it would be cool to do race recaps. I also plan on doing some videos where I talk about my video game collections, talking about each systems, what I think the top 10 games I have for each system are. And I'll also upload some videos from the past when I was a child, some funny moments as well. So that's what I hope to do with this YouTube channel, post some sports clips on here as well, and some Star Trek clips, and what I think maybe the top 10 scenes are for each of those shows, and MASH as well. And so that's what I plan on doing with the channel. So first off today, I went and I ran in the Vicksburg Hearty Hustle over in Vicksburg, Michigan. Obviously, May 9th of 2015. This is the 28th year that this race has been going on. And this is the first time I've done this race, typically because this is the same weekend as the Fifth Third Riverbank Run up in Grand Rapids. So I usually go up there and do that run. But this year I ran the Borges Half Marathon. That was my first half marathon I'd ever done, and I did very well for that. I ran it in 1:42:48, which was a 7:51 average per mile, and took 142nd overall out of almost 2,000 runners. So I mean, my first half marathon, I kicked some big time butt there. I tried to stay with the 145 pace group for that and did it for most of the race. They told me the last 2 miles just to go on. So the reason why I went over and ran in Vicksburg today instead of going up there is because I'm part of the Kalamazoo runners, and so for this race you can earn points toward the championship series, and your 9 best races you get totaled out, and they add up your points, and that's your finish at the end of the season. Think about it like kind of like NASCAR, where you earn points for where you finish in a race. However, it's completely different in running for the Kalamazoo Runner Series. It's not based on where you finish. It's based on your time divided by the winner's time, and then you times it by 100, so you can get a certain amount of points based on that. And so that's why I decided to do this one instead of doing the Riverbank Run, because I didn't know how my legs would be after just running a half marathon 6 days ago. I didn't want to go up to Grand Rapids and halfway through the race have to kind of back off my pace. Because up there, there's no points. It's not part of the Kalamazoo Runner Series, and so it'd be strictly based on time, and I'd rather go up there and run on fresh legs. So that's why I went over to Vicksburg. We'll talk about the race in just a minute. Anyways, all right. So it's a pretty warm day. You might be able to hear I have the fan on in my house. It was not ideal racing conditions. It wasn't cool. It was pretty humid out there. Temperatures were in the mid 60s. We've been going through that here in Michigan. This whole week we've been having temperatures in the 80s, except for Tuesday it was like around 60 degrees. It was cold and damp that day, but otherwise we've had warm and humid days going on. So not ideal racing conditions at all. By the way, here's the shirt for the Hearty Hustle. Let me just show it off here. Vicksburg Hearty Hustle. It says one beat, one step, one race. And then usually on the back you have tons of sponsors, but this one there's no sponsors. It's just you just have up on the top a heart, a footprint, and a person running, and the date. So it's a pretty nice shirt. It's a technical shirt, so it's a moisture wicking shirt. So it helps you. It helps pick up your sweat. So if you're wearing like a cotton shirt, you're not gonna, you're obviously gonna feel the sweat. Your shirt's gonna be heavier. It's kind of like this. This is a moisture wicking shirt. It's good to run in, so it can pick up the sweat from you when you're running. So anyways, not ideal racing conditions. It was cloudy, rained all the way over when I was driving there, but the rain had stopped, and thank goodness it did. I actually have not ran a 5K race in the rain since I've been doing 5K races. I started running in high school doing cross country and track, and I did run some in the rain there. But since I started doing road racing, which I started in 2010, that's I haven't ran a race in the rain. Ran races in the snow, but none in the rain. So thank goodness that stopped. But yeah, just not ideal conditions. It was humid out. If it was sunny out and humid, it would have been a lot worse. But because it was cloudy and humid, it's slightly better. But sweated a whole lot during the race. So anyways, race went off at 9 a.m. and we had a mass start. No, we had chips. We have a chip on our bib, but that doesn't count until you cross the line. So there was no mat to cross at the start. So I started up near the front that way, so my time wouldn't suffer from that. So anyways, a bunch of kids started out in front of us, and of course passed all of them about a quarter mile in. I don't mind kids, starting out in the front. It's just that, they should maybe start more off to the side. But you had like this whole mass of kids right down the middle, and they did slow me down a little bit, but only for maybe like that first quarter mile. Like I said, then I passed them all. Got out into a group with the lead runners after that for about the first mile or so. I was pretty close to them. The leaders only were, I would say, about 20 seconds or so in front of me, and so there wasn't anybody with like blazing speed today, or like really super speed, like you see like 15, 16 minute finishers. So I mean, I was pretty close to the front, which I was pretty thankful for that. Pretty flat course as well. So we'll talk about that a little later. Let's just continue with the race. I'll talk about that as we go along here. So a little bump in the hill around the first mile mark, but nothing major. It takes you around the streets of Vicksburg. It's a pretty winding course. Lot of turns to it. Down a bunch of streets. About mile 2, there was a guy I was sticking with. He was 51 years old. Kind of kept getting away from me a little bit, but then I dragged him back in. So I was running fairly well. I hadn't done really any speed work when training for the half marathon, so I was kind of wondering what my time would be coming in here today. And I was thinking, well, if I finish in the 21s, I'm satisfied with that. I mean, especially not for not putting in any speed work. So we get to the first mile mark. I didn't check my time, but I did at the second mile mark. I was at 13:07. At that point, I'm like, okay, that's pretty good. It's about a 6:33 average, I believe. 6:33 and a half seconds. So that's pretty good. Probably first mile was a little fast for me. I could definitely feel I was feeling a little winded without doing, without doing that speed work. But I mean, otherwise, I was feeling pretty good. By the second mile, though, I mean, the guy was starting to pull away from me a little bit, and I could hear a couple of runners coming behind me as we're still winding down through the streets of Vicksburg. The only thing I was saying earlier that was kind of a deterrent was you could actually, the entire race, really hear the announcer. So you were pretty close to the start line. We started right at the high school, so you were pretty close to the entire race. You could hear the announcer. There was even 2 or 3 times during the race you could actually see where you're going to finish. And at one point, when we were going by the track, I could see in the distance that the clock was around 12 minutes. And I'm like, okay, we got about 8-9 minutes left to go in the race here. And it's like, wow, I just really would like to finish right now. I was feeling a little winded at that point. Well, anyways, I could feel in that last mile, I was starting to dip. I was telling myself, okay, just keep chugging along, just keep pacing, just pick up the speed a little bit. A couple runners did pass me. I did pass one runner. And as we were making our way through the town of Vicksburg, we finally came back to the school, back down the street that we started on. So I knew we were coming to the finish line. At that point, we ran back through the parking lot and then ran around the fence onto the track. And then as we were coming in the track, they would announce all your names. So that was pretty cool as well. So you could hear your name as you're coming in. It reminded me a little bit of the Battle Creek Spring Into Action 5K, 10K run there. As you start on the track and then you come in and you finish on it as well. And I hadn't ran at Vicksburg since my senior year in 2007 in high school. So it's been 8 years since I've been back there. So it's pretty sweet. And they have a red track. I don't know. I just like the red track better than the black track because then it's a little different, I guess. And a blue track is even cool as well. I think they. No, I thought I knew of a blue track around here, but I don't. But anyways. Coming across, coming in, going around the turns, picking up my speed. I could see the clock. It was about 20:50 when I saw it. And I'm like, oh man, I'm just gonna not make it under 21 minutes today. But I was like, it's okay, no big deal. I said if I finish in the 21s, that's fine. I crossed the line, 21:07, and I ended up taking 11th overall. But I ended up taking third in my age group. So tough age group. I'm in the 20 to 29 age group for this race, and so one thing I don't like is because usually for these races, a lot of the 5K races, especially some of the bigger ones, they split up the age groups into five-year divisions. So usually it's 20 to 24 and 25 to 29, but for this one they combine them. But I mean, there was at least 250 people there. I would say they could have combined the age groups. So that's one thing I would say was maybe a little drawback. And the reason why I say that is because the two guys that actually did finish in front of me, my age group, were in the 20 to 24 range. So if they had the 25 to 29 range, I would have ended up winning my age group, which most of the time I do. There are times I do take second or third if there are a lot of faster runners in my age group there, in the 25 to 29 range. But these two guys were under that, so I just kind of wish they had split up the age groups as they did. And the reason why I say that is because at the awards ceremony, they only gave out awards to the top finisher in each age group. And usually a lot of these races will go top 3 in each age group. So I mean, even though I would have still got third in my age group, even though I got third in my age group, usually I get an award, and that's great. But unfortunately, they only did top person in each age group. So if they had split it up, I could have got one. But I mean, I'm a little disappointed about that. But it's okay. I mean, it's not about the awards. I mean, it's one of the reasons why I run, but it's way down the bottom. I run because stay fit, because I love it, because I love meeting new people, and just because I love running races and setting new personal bests. And so we're back on the 5K trail now. So my next race will be Sunday, not this Sunday, the next Sunday, May 17th. I'll be doing the Susan G. Komen run for the Southwest Michigan area down in Kalamazoo. Sunday afternoon race, so it's going to be probably warm that day. And I don't really like afternoon races for that reason. I like the races in the morning because usually most of them are nice and cool. Of course, when you get in the summertime, you never know what's going to happen. You could get a race where it's just blazing hot in the morning. So overall, fantastic race. They did a great job putting on the event. They had the 5K run, they had a 5K walk, they had a baby bowl race for 1 to 4-year-olds, and all those finishers got medals, so that was great. They had a lot of snacks that they provided: apples, oranges. They had apple juice, grape juice, orange juice, raisins. They provided water at the finish line, taking your pictures as you cross. They had a raffle at the end. So a fantastic job by all the people in Vicksburg today. And I'll probably be back next year because I'm hoping I can train for the Kalamazoo Marathon. And yes, I'm declaring it now. I would like to train for that coming up. That's next year, so the training would probably start in December. I'd be joining Borges Run Camp again. So there you go. There's my announcement. I'm going to run the Kalamazoo Marathon. That'd be my first marathon, so I'd be back next year for the Vicksburg Hearty Hustle, definitely. And then after that, I'd probably go back to the 5Ks because that's just my favorite distance. Doing a lot of 5K races, that's what I mostly do. I do add a few 10Ks in there. I mean, I like all the distances I run. Just 5Ks are the distance I do the most of. Do a few 10Ks, did my first half marathon. Next year plan to do full marathon. So that's awesome. So everybody, will talk to you again next week. This is Michael Louden signing off. Gonna post a link to the results in the description. So if you want to check that out, great. Subscribe for more content up in the corner. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Have a great day, great night whenever you watch this. Thank you for watching this video.